What is going on, everybody? It is your observant lineman, Uche Waneri. Appreciate you guys for coming in here. Kind of an impromptu live stream. This is pretty much me, seeing some things online. Got some breaking, not breaking, I guess, but viral news, or a viral video rather, of Cam Newton getting into a little verbal altercation, we'll say, with a young kid at a football camp. Now, this was something that I saw earlier in the day, and to be quite honest, it was a shake your head moment for me. I really felt like this was one of those things where me as a grown adult, as somebody who is I guess logical in the way that one thinks about certain situations and how they should be handled. I looked at this video and I shook my head, because my first inclination in just mentally responding to it was one of this little kid who, like, where is this little kid's parents? Like these little kids' parents probably paid for their kid to come to this football camp. And it's a camp that is organized and set up by Cam Newton to help youth in refining their skills and learning a little bit more about football. And here, their child, for the whole world to see, because of course he's using a social media platform to I guess to try and go viral, which he did, but to chronicle this situation with Cam Newton, where he's yelling back at Cam while Cam is trying to get into instructing his football camp. He's basically heckling Cam about being a free agent, about being a guy who was going to be a free agent, which is true. He's going to be a free agent, but what exactly does that mean? What exactly does that mean? So, let's take a look at the video. And then we'll take a look at the response from the Twitterverse, because of course the Twitterverse is going to respond, and of course there's going to be takes that are totally tone deaf and totally don't have any kind of understanding of how children think that it's okay, or can think that it's okay, for a situation like this to play out in the way it did. So let's take a look here at the actual video itself, and then from there, and let me pull it up real quick. Here we go. Let's take a look at this video. This is the video. It's got 3.2 million views at this point, posted by Justin Ramos, about this entire situation with Cam Newton. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look.
You asked. You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. He's a free agent. Where your daddy at? Let me talk to your dad. Let me talk to your dad. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You asked. Talk to. Let me. Where's your dad? Where's your pop? Where's the dad?
So, as you can see, the young kid is going at Cam Newton, telling him he's trash. You're a free agent. You about to be a free agent. You about to be a free agent. You about to be poor. You about to be poor. You about to be poor. And obviously, one would assume that this is there's some trolling going on here, for sure, for certain. There's some trolling going on here. But also, I mean, to a certain extent, there's a level of disrespect here in how this kid, who's been brought to a Cam Newton football camp, decided he wanted to put himself on a front and center in front of the whole camp and create a viral moment for himself in heckling a guy who has been a former NFL MVP, a former starting quarterback, a quarterback who has multiple Pro Bowl nods, a guy who's made a lot of money in this league, a guy who's done a lot for his community, a guy who has been involved, consistently in his career in the community in both Carolina and I'm sure in New England as well. But a guy who has been involved in helping to develop youth in football. And football does something that's very unique for those who are involved in it for any real length of time in their life. Football does something in that it helps kind of set a level of values and principles within a player when you're brought into that teamwork environment, when you're brought into that locker room, and you are taught how to be accountable for what you do. You're taught how to work together and how to trust the man next to you, and how to focus on becoming a better player every day through repetition, through practice, and these things instill certain kinds of characteristics in those who can absorb it, and those who are coachable. It instills a certain level of characteristics that help to mold you into a more productive person. To be honest, it helps. It allows you to understand how to set goals, how to be relentless in trying to achieve your goals, how to work with people who aren't necessarily of the same mindset or the same perspective or the same walk of life as you, and to move forward and to work together to accomplish something that's greater than any one individual. That is where football has a unique ability in helping to raise youth. And when you have athletes who obviously have benefited from these lessons and benefited from this kind of culture and this kind of molding, along with their natural talent, to make it to the NFL, to make it to the level of a league MVP, there is absolutely something to be said about a kid who thinks that heckling somebody because, how many years is this now for Cam Newton? 10 years, 11 years, 9 years, 10 years, something like that. But, somebody who has achieved a lot in their career, someone who is surely going to be in Canton, Ohio at some point in the future, to see this kid come out and get this heckle on, just, and I'll play it again for anybody who's just coming into the stream. Make sure you smash that like button. And if this is your first time, think about subscribing to the Observer Lineman Uche Waneri. That is me, 7-year NFL vet, played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, started 94 of 102 games in the NFL. So, a little bit of knowledge on some of these things here, a little bit of credibility, I would think, in discussing matters of this. But let's play this video one more time for everybody who's just getting in. I'm sure you're seeing it. It's been trending on Twitter for most of the day. But here we go.
You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You about to be pulled. I'm rich. You about to be pulled. I'm rich. You about to be pulled. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. He's a free agent. Where your daddy at? Let me talk to your dad. Let me talk to your dad. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. You're a free agent.
Cam's even asking, where's your dad at? Where's this kid's parents? You see, and that's the difference. That's the difference here. Cam Newton, the adult, the true adult in the room, while he does engage with this kid, which I think is a mistake. You don't engage with little kids who think they know too much. And if you're going to engage, it's got to be very straightforward and very to the point about why they don't know jack shit. But you can help educate them if they want to shut up and listen and work in this football camp. But Cam Newton in this video is saying multiple times, where is this kid's dad? Where's your mom? Where's your parents? Like, who is responsible for this kid? Your kid is here disrupting my camp, 1. 2, he's being disrespectful. And it's on your dime because you as the parents are the ones who brought him here and paid for him to be a part of this camp. And he is over here acting a damn fool. And you know, it's a bad look for the parents, for one, for sure. But as we go down here into the response section, into the comment section of this video, here's my comment to start it. In my comment here, I say, that little shit, and yeah, I mean it when I say it. I said what I said. So that little shit and his parents should know this right here, right now. Your child has less than a 2% chance. Your child doesn't even respect those who actually succeeded at being part of that barely 2% chance. Your kid ain't shit and almost certainly ain't making it. Bye. Now, look, some people may say that that's a little bit harsh. Some people may say, well, how do you know he's not going to make it? How do you know he's not a kid who has a chance or a kid who has the skill to make it? Well, I don't know that he has a skill to make it. I've never seen the kid play football. But thanks to the internet and its undefeated status, its status as an undefeated champion, we have film of this kid right here. Here he is, number 2, right here, getting his ass put on his damn back. There he is. Yuck. And I know there might be some people out there saying, hey, but how do you know that's him? How do you know that's him? How do you know that's him? Well, we have more receipts. We have more receipts. We didn't just buy one item. We got 2. Here we have another, and this is him here. This is the kid right here. This is him. Number 2, Seth Owens. Here we go. This is the guy. This is our guy. Let's go back. Now, let's check out some of his junior year highlights. 114 views. We got to add. We're going to kick on past that. 6 foot, 195 pounds at strong safety. Hey, I can tell you one thing. 6 foot, 195 pounds, strong safety. That's a little small. It's a little small. Let's take a look at his highlights. All 1 minute and 12 seconds of it. Okay, so it looks like we got a kid here who doesn't really know how to tackle. He just tries to go in for shots. That's what we saw here on the first play, and that's what we're seeing here on the second play. He doesn't have an idea how to tackle. He just goes in and tries to hit. That's going to be a dislocated shoulder sooner or later. Where is he at? There he is right here. Let's see him. He's running. He's running. He's chasing the play down. It's already 25 yards down the field, and there he is. He just makes a tackle. So right now, what am I saying to myself? If these are his highlights, okay, so he just likes to hit. He just likes to throw his shoulder in there. I've seen a million who do the same thing who are sitting on their couch right now, not in the NFL. I don't see anything here at all that leads me to believe I should give 2 damns about this kid talent-wise. Do y'all? You guys see anything? You guys see anything there? I don't know. Let's take another look. Here he is. I think this probably was his best play of the whole film. Running down the hill, he put a hit on him. Okay. This, I mean, whatever. That's nothing. That's just, he's already gained 4 yards at that point. That's an efficient run. That's an efficient run. Here he is over here, right? What's he going to do? 6 foot, 195, strong safety. Chasing the ball down the field. Okay, he hit him. He tackled him. Okay. Okay. I don't really see anything here that would lead me to believe that this is a kid who's even getting a scholarship to a D1. I don't see anything here. This is his highlight film. This is his junior year highlights. You got less than 10 plays on here. You got less than 10 plays. He covered the whole field for a tackle on one play, which I mean, come on. Any player who has a desire to go out and play football is going to chase a play down, I would think, and put themselves try and make a play. That doesn't make him even a Division I level kind of player, does it? I don't know. I don't see that as really being a situation where a kid is showing some kind of unique talent that's going to get him to the next level. He's in high school right now. That kid should be shutting his ass up and listening to the professionals so that he can get himself a little bit of knowledge. Might help him in his journey to try and become a professional athlete. Might help him. Instead of trying to be a viral TikToker, how about you shut your ass up, do these drills that your parents paid for, and soak up some knowledge from the OGs, from the cats who've been there, done that. That's what I would say. That's just me. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm looking in the chat. What do you guys think? We got a super chat. RC from NYC, $5 super chat. Make sure you if you want to talk about this at length, throw a super chat in there. Let's talk about it. But RC says, what's up, Uche? What's up, chat? Hope everyone is good. Appreciate that, RC. But this is our guy. This is our guy right here. This is our guy. Number 2, getting his ass laid out. I mean, this is like a tight end. He's trying to cover on an interception. And look what he does once he gets his ass laid out. Boom! He gets up with his hands out. Help! Oh, ref, what's going on? Looking up at him. He got sun right here. He's looking up. He got sun. Anybody trying to hear all that? He want a TikTok talking about Cam Newton is a free agent. Now, to get to the meat of this, because it really is not, it's not about this kid. This kid to me is insignificant. He's trolling. He thinks he knows better than he does. But we all know better. All of us who are grown, I would hope we all know better that what this kid's doing in this video with Cam Newton is disrespectful, and it's stupid. Like, Cam shouldn't be engaging with them like that, for one. But this kid's not showing that he's the sharpest tool in the shed when it's all said and done. Now, to move a little bit further into this is where I have a real issue with this entire situation, is when Jason Whitlock, the guy who repeatedly has bad takes, not only in the football world, but in the sporting world in general, he has bad takes. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I hate Jason Whitlock. I don't hate this guy at all. But I think he's a lot of times misleading, a lot of times misinforming, because he's catering to a certain kind of crowd. Let's just call it that. But Jason Whitlock goes on Twitter after this situation where we just witnessed a little kid who don't know shit disrespecting a grown adult male who is an accomplished grown adult male, who is where this kid hopes to be at some point in his life if he is even lucky enough to get a college scholarship. Jason Whitlock comes on to Twitter and says this. And you know what? I'll zoom in a little bit here. So you find people can see this clear as day. He says, we built an entire culture based on disrespect, in parentheses, gangster rap and battle rap, and materialism, in parentheses, the bag. And we're feigning shock. A kid would disrespect Cam Newton, and Cam would respond by shouting, I'm rich. It's a mirror of what we've constructed. We don't value self-respect. I'll read it again because I think that you got to kind of let this soak in a little bit to really kind of, if you're reading in between the lines, you know, it'll get under your skin a little bit. He said, we built an entire culture based on disrespect, gangster rap and battle rap, and a materialism, the bag, and we're feigning shock. A kid would disrespect Cam Newton, and Cam would respond by shouting, I'm rich. It's a mirror of what we've constructed. We don't value self-respect. This, to me, is the most disingenuous, misleading, Uncle Tomish bullshit of a response that one could have for a situation like this, where it is oh so evident what the issue really is in the exchange between this kid at a youth football camp. Jason Whitlock is saying that gangster rap and battle rap are responsible for kids acting disrespectful, that the bag, meaning money, is the reason why this kid is being disrespectful to Cam Newton. And that Cam Newton, because he is ignorant, is shouting back, I'm rich. I mean, let's be real for one fucking second, please. Jason Whitlock, you're full of shit. And this entire tweet just shows how fucking ignorant you are. It shows how stuck in that 1990s blame it on the new shiny toy thing that you're in right now. It just shows the total lack of awareness, tone deafness, idiocy that Jason Whitlock is responding with in this tweet. This ain't got nothing to do with gangster rap or battle rap or the bag. Are you fucking serious? Do you have kids? My man, do you got kids? Because if you have kids, then you would know. This ain't got nothing to do with no gangster rap. Come on, get the fuck out of here, dude. You can't be serious. Now, my reply, which is, this was the tempered, because I had to rewrite this a few times. My reply here is, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? This kid didn't learn this dumb shit from no gangster rap. This is the same lame-ass bullshit you and your ilk tried in the 90s. He learned this disrespectful bullshit from his parents. So please, get your tone on point or shut the fuck up. To which, it speaks for itself. I guess I liked it as well. I did like the way it sounded. But I got 216 likes, 10 retweets, 20 replies. Now, in me saying that this is total bullshit, this is some lame ass bullshit that we got coming from Jason Whitlock here, I will concede that there can be a particular role that the environment that you come up in plays in how you view things that are deemed acceptable or unacceptable. Nobody will argue against that. But we all know where this all starts at. We all know where it begins for everybody in their lives, where they learn, where the foundation is set for them as an individual moving and growing in this world. We all know where our inherent understanding of what is right, what is wrong, things that are respectful and disrespectful, we all know where that comes from. We all know. And it doesn't come from such things as gangster rap and battle rap and those minute aspects of everyday culture. It comes from the people that you are around at the most influential moments of your life. And those are your parents. Plain and simple. I've listened to gangster rap. I've listened to R&B. I've listened to heavy metal. I've listened to grunge. I've listened to classic rock. I've listened to all those things in the course of my life, from being a young youth to being a grown man today at the age of 36. I've listened to all of it. And I know what's entertainment. I know what's entertainment and I know what's reality, and I know where there's a line that separates them. I know what that is. I've been to football camps when I was young. I've hosted football camps as an adult, and I've been to football camps as a youth. If I would have did anything in the same way that this kid did to Cam Newton, my dad would have put his hand across my face so quick, dragged me up out of there by the back of my neck, and embarrassed me in front of that whole crowd. For him to come out there and spend his money and take his time to bring me to a football camp, and for me to go out there, one, why would I have my fucking phone with me at all? I mean, back then, there wasn't no cell phones. It wasn't like this. So, it would obviously have been a different scenario. But if I got in an argument right there with the person who was that organized the camp, if I got in an argument with him and my dad saw that, my dad would walk out them bleachers onto that field, smack me upside the head as hard as he could, and drag me up out of there, all the while apologizing to Cam Newton for his kid coming out here making a fool of himself, embarrassing his family, and disrespecting him while he is being a person who's being gracious enough to bring a camp together for our youth to get involved in. That's what would have happened to me. Why? Because my parents will not let something like that slide, knowing how they've raised me. No other kid in that crowd said a thing or even jumped in to talk about Cam Newton. They may have been recording. They may have been, laughing and but not one of them. Didn't nobody else jump in and start talking. You know why? Because if their parents see their ass doing that, it's going to be a different scenario. It got nothing to do with this. And Jason Whitlock has too many takes like this where he automatically turns to things like music and things like movies and says, oh, this is what's influencing our culture. No, your parents set the tone. If your parents, you know what, I guarantee you that kid's pops or his guardian or whoever the hell is raising him, you know what he's probably seen them doing? He's probably seen them sitting on their phone, recording shit, talking bad about players in the NFL because they didn't like how a play went down or they didn't like how a game ended up. Or they're watching ESPN, and I guarantee you his dad is sitting there calling Cam Newton a bum, saying he played terrible in New England, he's a bum, he ain't nobody, and does it loud and proud out in public to where now his son thinks that that's exactly, that's an acceptable way to act. That's an acceptable way to be. And to me, that's where the failing is. Parenting. Don't put this on music. It's not any rapper's responsibility to raise your kid. You raise your kid. You raise your kid. We got another super chat here from Mexican Iron Man, $4.99. Mexican Iron Man, what's up, brother? He says, I think this kid needs some respect and some manners and some better parenting. This kid is indicative of a greater problem in society. So sad. And I agree with that. And I agree with that. and I see Mike Jackson. Hey, what's up, Mike Jackson? Man, it's been a minute, brother. He says my dad would have put an epic beat down on me. Okay, let me see here. MG23, Whitlock didn't blame those things. He cited our culture as a reason as why we should not be shocked. No, you're misunderstanding what his tweet says. He said, we built an entire culture based on disrespect, gangster rap and battle rap. That right there is him saying we built a culture that's based on disrespect because of gangster rap and battle rap and materialism. What does that have to do with a child disrespecting a grown-up? Gangster rap and battle rap, if you're a parent who allows your kid to think that the subject matter of gangster rap and battle rap are viable subject matters in way of teaching him how he should act and the kind of etiquette and the kind of manners he should have when he's out in public, then you're a sad parent. Because I don't know a parent on earth who is going to take a youth from their young age and begin to develop them thinking that these are the principles in which every child is being raised and these are acceptable norms. No, it's not. That's not how it happens. Now, if you want to say that there's a lack of leadership in the household, if you want to say potentially that there's maybe not a father in the household, and this may be a single parent home where there's not necessarily the ability to truly ingrain principles of respect and having manners and etiquette in public spaces, which really is among some of the most basic lessons that you're taught as a child. These aren't things that are graduate level lessons that you're being taught. I mean, I remember being in the grocery store with my mom, and when my mom told me to put something down or she wasn't buying something, to put it down, I've never in my entire childhood argued with that. Because why? Because if I argued with that and created a scene in a public space with my mom, when my mom is trying to get us food so she can make us dinner tonight after a long day of work, then there's going to be punishment for that. There's going to be hell to pay, because that's not how we act. We don't act like people who don't have respect for their parents when they tell them to put something down that you're not getting. You're not getting a cupcake. You're not getting cookies. You're not getting a candy bar. You're not getting a soda. Put it down. Let's go. Let's finish this. Let's go through this. Get your groceries. Go home. Eat dinner. Like, how many kids do you know, and the ones that scream and rattle off in the grocery store? Well, you see how some parents treat it. Some parents just ignore it, and you hear their kids screaming all up and down the aisles and creating a disturbance, and people are just kind of looking at them sideways. Nobody's going to say nothing because, hey, God forbid you tell another parent how to raise their kids. I even am sensitive to that. Don't say shit to me about what I'm doing to raise my kids. But you see, that's on one end. There's some people who handle it like that. You see on the other end, there's some people who handle it with far more precision and direct punitive behavior to their children, where they're grabbing their kid by the back, smacking them on the backside, sternly telling them to stop that and, stop making a scene. We all know that look from mama. When mama looks at you like, you know what that look is. Hey, stop it. Whatever you're doing right now, stop. Stop. Because that's not how shit's going down. We all know what that look looks like. When you talk back to your parents, when you say something a little bit too strong, you know what happens. You catch one. I got whoopings for getting in trouble in class because my parents did not raise me to go to class and disrespect the classroom and my teacher by being a disruption. It took me a lot of ass whoopings to figure that out. But you know what? By the time I was in high school, I knew better. I knew better. Now, if you want to say that you know, a kid doesn't have the consistent kind of parenting and you know, as we all know, if a parent doesn't teach them, their friends will. If you want to go there and say, okay, you know, this kid, maybe he don't have a dad in the house and he's acting up and it's hard for the mom to keep up with him, then, you know, I can listen to that and you know, say, okay, you know what, his friends and society around him will have a bigger influence. That's true. I can accept that argument, and we can debate those merits. But, you know, no, we all know what the baseline is here. You don't disrespect your elders. We've all been taught that. You don't disrespect your elders. And when you're being taught something, you should be quiet and listen. You don't know more. Look at this little kid. We seen this little kid on film. He ain't nobody on film. He ain't no blue chip. I guarantee you. And I tell you one thing, if that's the attitude that he has in dealing with adults to the point where he thinks he just wants to be an internet superstar, then how is he going to make it to the NFL? How is he going to make it to the NFL? He'll be disrespecting his coaches. He'll be disrespecting, older teammates. He won't be, that'll be a kid who will end up not being the kind of team player that you need to be to give yourself even the slightest chance of making it to the NFL. We got a super chat here from Lavery Adam. What is this? €5 here. That's euro. That's euro. Yeah, €5 here. I see him say, I'm not a Whitlock fan, but the keywords here are build an entire culture. We can't deny the influence of that. We just can't. Look, if you want to say that gangster rap and battle rap are the core tenets of black culture in America, which I don't believe they're the core tenets. I believe that rap, I believe that music in general, fashion, and entertainment are they're parts. They are significant parts, but I wouldn't call it core to the principles because there are many different principles and many different norms in black culture that you can attribute to both positive and negative things. And gangster rap is actually part of both ends of that spectrum. Gangster rap is part of both ends of that spectrum because gangster rap in its truest form, gangster rap does speak a little bit more from a storytelling standpoint based on the experiences of a lot of people who came up in very dire circumstances in their life, who used their ability to rhyme and reason through a microphone to not only bring awareness and shed a light on that lifestyle and on that culture itself, but also there are some who, as a matter of fact, rap and report that lifestyle and that environment as a cautionary tale. Like we've seen the cats who've come up in the rap game who have been champions of that. We've seen it. It's a part of black culture, but it's not the core to it. But I'll tell you one thing, in my opinion, this kind of shit right here is part of the core of black culture. Pointing the finger and blaming each other. I think that honestly is part of a bigger problem, and that's probably a bigger piece of the core of the problems in black society than anything that has to do with the music that we listen to. It's that when the issue pops up, here we have a very clear issue that is more easily summarized in that a kid who hasn't been taught how to have manners and have respect for his elders acts a fool at a football camp, but instead of recognizing it for what it really is, you point at the culture. You point at the culture with a broad brush stroke that really doesn't have any kind of real weight, because it's just so tone deaf to what really the issue is. And that is what keeps black society to a certain extent in that loop of self-hate, in that loop of no confidence, in that loop of disrespect, is that you blame things that are easy to blame instead of looking inward and saying, this is where we got to do better in raising kids, in raising our kids and teaching them how to really be productive members of society on a consistent basis. So for me, I don't accept that. I can't look at that and say that there's been an entire culture that dictates the actual thought process of black society that is built on disrespect, because that is disrespecting the hard work that a lot of people in black society have done to show the positive and the inspirational sides of black culture. To me, that totally goes against that. So I can't agree with that. I'm sorry, Lavery. Let's see here. James Daggs, I agree with Whitlock. Man, you got to do more than that. You got to explain something. You got to bring some kind of content here, dude. Don't just say I agree. Don't be a blind sheep. Don't just follow whatever anybody says. Lavery Adam for another €5. Appreciate it, Lavery. I'm enjoying. Okay, I'm enjoying that we're going back and forth on this. I'm glad that you're responding here. He says Nas said it best. Hip hop is a zombie monster. And again, I'm saying we can't deny the influence. Well, again, I would ask you, where is the influence? Where do you see in hip hop? Where can you really express from what hip hop has brought to the table? Where can you see that influence would lead a child down this path to think that disrespecting, Cam Newton in that way in a youth camp is acceptable? What in the culture of hip hop, what in that regard, what influence are you speaking of? That's what I don't understand. I'm trying to understand you when we're talking about that. What influence are you really talking about? Where's the influence in that? Where is the influence in that? I'd like to understand that a little bit more, because that's one part that I'm not really getting. Cook & Co. for $4.99. Cook & Co. Appreciate it. He's got a $4.99 super chat. He says, Uche, what's sad is, even with all the training and love in the world, some people just choose to make the presented decisions. Yes, and that's true as well. There are, and it's not to, and I don't mean to say that parenting would be fail. It would be foolproof, and it would, and it works 100%. In creating a productive young person and allowing them to move forward in life. No, I agree that's not, you can give all of the good parenting you want, and things can still go awry. We know that things can still go to the left. And that might be the case for this kid. He might have two parents that brought him up to respect, his elders and respect people who, are doing something that is really for the betterment of you. Cam Newton has no real, he doesn't gain anything, from holding this camp. He's doing it out of the genuine desire that he has in his heart to help youth improve themselves from football, and also through that, football will help improve you as a person. And you know, that is I think that's very much you know, where it comes from for him. And you know, this kid may just made a stupid decision because he's just, you know, he just allows himself to think that the only way to be popular or to be you know, liked is to do things that gain attention, do things that go viral, do things that get you clicks. You know, I can see where that would be a similar or a situation rather that would that could tempt a kid to act out of how they normally would. So I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not so locked into one perspective where I can't see that as also being a possibility. But to try and blame, you know, the whole entire situation, lock, stock, and barrel, on gangster rap and materialism, and think that is these are the cultural values that have been so you know, instilled in us that we don't know how to act. That means you're saying we just animals. That means you're saying we just animals and we don't know how to act. We just go after the shiny thing. We just go after what sounds good. Not true enough. You know, it's I'm sure there are some who really believe in some of the far-fetched fictional representations of popular culture today, which includes music, which includes things like rap. You know what I mean? But let's be real. Even kids who believe in some of that shit that they hear in music, if they got any kind of upbringing at all, they know when you're they may hang out with their buddies and act that way, and they may, you know, be at the house in their room acting that way. But if this is a kid who's playing football and he goes to a youth football camp, they're not gonna act that way. They know where to draw the line. Because that's been something that they've been taught by their parents. Like I said, if we go back to this video, and we can go back to this video right here. If we go back to this video, tell me where you see other kids saying what this kid is saying. Is there anybody backing him up? Is there anybody who's saying, yeah, you a bum, Cam, you a free agent? Let's take a look at it.
You asked. You're a free agent.
These kids are all standing here listening, waiting to listen, waiting to hear something from him. They turning around like, what the heck is this? He's the only one saying something.
Where's your daddy at? Let me talk to your dad. Let me talk to your dad. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. You're a free agent.
You see kids recording.
Where's your dad? Where's your pop?
You don't see any kids react. Like, you don't see any kids really joining in with this kid. They're reacting. They're reacting. They're just reacting by recording, but they're not actually joining in on this entire conversation and this entire back and forth. You can see that there are kids, you know, there's a difference. There's a difference. This is the kid who's trying to get all the notoriety. He's the kid who's trying to get he wants all of the accolades. He wants all of the trending. He wants all of that for the day. And sure enough, he got it because Cam responded than because he actually said anything. But, you know, let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be straight up real here. He's the only kid that's going at Cam Newton.
You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You about to be pulled. I'm rich. You about to be pulled. I'm rich. You about to be pulled. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. He's a free agent. Where's your daddy at? Let me talk to your dad. Let me talk to your dad.
And he's just continuing to ask him, where's your dad at? Where's your dad at? Where's your dad at? Like, where's his kids? Like, come on, dude. I'd be triple dog embarrassed if that was my kid. Oh, he would have got his ass beat. He would have got his ass beat when we got home. I'd have beat his ass. I'd have beat his ass hard. The Greg for $5. The Greg, what's up, man? Let's see here. Oh my God, here we go. This is gonna be a good one. Two parents. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady had two parents, and he grew up to be America's greatest pro athlete. Patriot 6 and counting. TB 12 times 7. Appreciate that, the Greg. You know, me and the Greg, and this is a guy who is a regular on my live streams. Love him to death. You know, he comes up with some good jokes about you know, me being a Jaguar and us not really, you know, never beating Tom Brady or the Patriots. And he knows that I hate, you know, I hate, quote unquote, Tom Brady. So he's willing to spend money to further throw more jabs at me about Tom Brady, which, you know, I can appreciate that because it's funny. It's funny. So appreciate that there, Greg. Let's see here. Looking in the chat. Let's see. Let's see if it was a cultural thing, other black kids would have laughed and joined in. The kid is clearly trolling. Tech 2K1. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Like, this is not indicative of black culture. This is not indicative of black disrespect based on gangster rap and materialism. This is a kid who's just a fucking idiot and whose parents, you know, I hope taught him better, and I hope have smacked him up for this because he's embarrassed them. And not only that, you know, this is just a kid who's simply trolling, like you said, just simply trolling here, simply trolling. So for me, you know, that is easy enough to diagnose and dismiss. But this, again, for me, is where I have a real problem with how Jason Whitlock, once again, you know, has a view and has a viewpoint that just is completely missing the real underlying issue here. He's completely missing. We don't value self-respect. I mean, come on, that's a slap to the face of every black person in this country. To say that people don't, that black folks don't value self-respect. I got a lot of self-respect. My family has a lot of self-respect. My friends have a lot of self-respect. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? To me, this is somebody who is entrenched in a certain way that he has to come off to his audience in order for him to continue to amass the kind of likes like you're seeing here, 4,335 and growing. And, you know, it's based on having takes like this, takes that don't really say anything. They don't say anything. So for me, I give two shits about Jason Whitlock and his opinion about black culture. We got Lavery Adam here for another €5. Avery, man, or Lavery, appreciate you once again, brother. He says hip hop is not what it was. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree. I'm an 80s baby, grew up in the 90s. You know, 90s music in general, in my opinion, was the greatest. It was the golden age of music, and almost across the board in every genre, and that includes hip hop. And a large reason why hip hop's greatest era was in the 90s was because of gangster rap. Why? Because gangster rap was presented in a more authentic, real way that really was more about the storytelling aspect of the problems in black impoverished communities. I mean, need we, you know, we know who the iconic rappers of that age were. We know what they brought to the table. He says certain people have found a way to sustain themselves out of it, and their ways in the is the antithesis of education and getting better. And let me read that one more time. Hip hop is not what it was. Certain people have found a way to sustain themselves out of it, and their ways are the antithesis of education and getting better. No, those are true statements. Those are true statements. I firmly believe and agree with you in that. And again, you know, if you go onto the profile page for my Twitter here, you know, and I'll do that. Let me, because we've already went through some of this bum's film. Yeah, I'm going to call him a bum. He want to talk about bummy. This is bummy. Yuck, sit your ass down. But, you know, if you go to my profile here, this is, for me, a person that was influential in that I find a lot of influence in as an adult in applying the things I was taught as a child and some of the lessons as an adult that you need to have when trying to achieve things on your own. And, you know, Pac is saying this in a hyped up way, but there's a message in what he's saying. Gotta hustle for my own.
I'm gonna get my own sack. I don't want to be nobody's worker all my life. I want my own motherfucking kilo. You understand me? So that's what I did. And Shock a hustler, and I'm a hustler, so everybody understand it. Ain't no one.
And when you talk about influence from music, this is the kind of influence I had from music in that regard.
So I took what little bit he gave me and doubled up. And
build something off your own. Build something in your own for your own legacy. And that's pinned at the front, at the top of my my account here. Build something from your own legacy. So, no, I agree with you. I agree with you, Lavery. Music is definitely much different now than it's ever been. But parenting is parenting. Parenting's influence and parenting's role in molding the personalities of our youth has always been the same level. It's always been the same. It's a heavy influence. It is the heaviest influence. It's the guiding it's the guiding principles that your child will use to determine what they view as acceptable behavior and what they view as unacceptable behavior. And like I said, as my point of argument, again, was that all these kids, and these are all black kids here. These are all black kids. These are all black kids. How many of them joined in? These are all black kids from black culture, Jason Whitlock. And how many of them joined in to this absolute trollery, this absolute idiocy that this dumbass little boy thought was fine to run with? How many of them joined in of all these black kids in this black culture that's been built on disrespect? None of them. None of them joined in. And if that's not proof enough, then what else do you want? What else do you want? RC from NYC, $5 super chat here. He says, if I ever run into Whitlock, I'm going to tell him you're a free agent. Shit, don't let me run into Whitlock. Don't let me run into him. Don't let me run into him, bum. Let's see here. Formerly Rodline. What's going on, brother? Formerly Rodline. Jesus, no respect left for elders. 100%, bruh. 100%. And, you know, again, I say that slightly facetiously. It's not 100% because, I mean, my kids absolutely respect elders. My children, my two daughters respect their elders. And a lot of people that I know, you know, a lot of people who I'm friends with, their kids respect elders. I don't really know any kids that I've ever, you know, run into in my, you know, in my recent lifetime, that I would say that these kids just don't respect elders, you know. I haven't seen that. So I don't know. I won't say 100%, but there is a problem with kids respecting elders. Let's see here. Like him or not, I have thought Whitlock to be genuine and not grifting. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what, man? Look, you know, it's you know, Jason Whitlock has been one of those guys over the years who has become notorious in the black community for having these overly generalizing statements, these overly generalizing takes, where he's throwing the black society under the bus for everything. which is totally disingenuous. And there's a reason why he does that. There's a reason why he does that. Because honestly, when I think of, in my analysis of it, he does it because it pays him. It pays him because there's a certain kind of audience that he resonates with in some of the things that he blames black society for. Like, come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. This dude is a fucking bum. This dude's a bum. See here. James Dagg says rap music benefited American black people. Come on, man. That's a stupid question. You gotta do better, James Daggs. Your questions. I think that's the second one that I've seen from you that really, or maybe not. Maybe it was somebody else. Oh no, it was you. You said you agree with Whitlock. Never really brought any real context behind that. So yeah, he says David Curl is always said to be pro-black just to make excuses for black pathology. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's you're cherry picking right now, and I don't really know. I don't know what you want me to do about cherry picking. I don't like to have conversations where every time I make a point that defeats a point, where, or really just kind of shows that the point that you're trying to make isn't truly valid in this particular instance. I just get another goalpost being moved to the side a little bit more where I have to answer another question that's similar but not really the same. Come on, man. Come on. You got to do better. I need more. You're asking me, has rap music benefited American black people? Motherfuckers make money off the shit, haven't they? They make money off it. Isn't that doing better for them? Or are they using some of that money to get back to their community? I assume some of them are. So I would say yes. Black rap music has benefited American black people. Yes, I would say it has. Even though that question is really quite tone deaf again. Let's see here. RC says Tupac published a book called The Rose That Grew From Concrete. Credible rhymes and storytelling about his view of the real world. Yeah, and that book of poetry, the original pages of that poetry are in the our National Museum in New York, United States National Museum. That's a benefit of rap music right there. Let's see here. Thomas Armento says that's why Cam asked where the punk's dad was. None of the other kids were acting up. Surely they are being raised with respect. Yeah, totally. Like that's totally the point, and that's totally one of the points I was making. Thomas Armento. It's totally one of the points I was making here is that this is a whole group of nothing but black kids here, and there's only one acting a damn fool. So what is it? It's the rap music or it's his parents. We got to pick one. Can't be both. Because if it was, these kids would have all jumped in with him and would have all been clowning on this cat. No. Come on, man. Formerly Rod says, my wife's a middle school teacher, and it's sad to say there are a lot of kids who haven't grown up with respect for adults. No, hey man, and I understand that. I do understand that, and I do absolutely feel like that is correct. I feel like that's something that kids in general these days are lacking. I do see that, and I do think that is definitely an issue that children in general are having today, and it has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with parenting. Has everything to do with parenting. Parents have to find, if it's usually like we say, it's passed down. These things are passed down. So Parents will pass down their bad habits as well as their good ones. Parents will pass down their values, whether they be solid values and principles or not. Those things get passed to their kids, and that's where the foundation is set for what their kids think is right and wrong. And if you don't have, if you haven't set a good, if you haven't set a sound set of principles and values for your kids, especially when it comes to them dealing with other people in public, then this can also be what the result ends up being, is that you have a situation like this with a professional athlete who is actually, come on now. And look, guys, let me be the first one to say this. So, I probably should have said this first. I really don't give a damn about race. I don't care. I really don't. Like, in my heart of hearts, I have no preconceived notions about any person that I come into any kind of communication with, or meeting anyone for the first time. I have no preconceived notions of who they are or what they value as a person, because they'll show me before it's all said and done. I'll know, because you can't hide who you are. You just can't. But in this situation, and this is how, in my eyes, this kid was brought up very badly, is that you actually have a black athlete, a black male successful athlete here who is doing the right thing by his own society of people and trying to give back knowledge, give back understanding, give back in many intangible ways that will benefit these kids for years moving forward in their life. This is what he's here to do, with no motives other than just that. And for a kid to really, pull away from the attention that this guy commands and the respect that he commands, and try to berate him because he's, okay, so fucking what? Cam Newton's not the quarterback he was 5 years ago. So what? So what? What does that have to do with why he's here right now? Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with why he's here right now. He is trying to hold a youth football camp for the betterment of a lot of people's kids and helping to point them in the right direction in their life and in their football life. And, it shows what kind of parents he has, or at least it shows what kind of what kind of lacking his parents may have had in teaching him about just being in public spaces. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see here. Okay, I see somebody here. At the end of the day, I think there is a bigger problem with morality, regardless of race, in this country. Too many people want clout, attention these days. And I think that's a fair statement to make, CJ fam. That's a fair statement to make. I think that's true. Luke King, Cam is whack. Okay, that's fine. We don't care. That has nothing to do with anything. Luke King. Let's see here. Little Cupcake Gotcha movies. Yeah, whatever. MG23, the kid will not lose any friends for behaving this way. A white kid would lose friends if they said something racist. It's culturally acceptable for him to behave this way. No, that's fucking bullshit, dude. What are you talking about? What does this even mean? What does this even mean? Dude, that's utter bullshit. Utter bullshit. No, rethink that for a second. MG23. That don't make no damn sense. That don't make no damn sense. You see all these kids in this video? Do I got to play it again for you, MG23? You see all these kids? How many of them jumped into this with them? They're looking at this kid like he's crazy. There are some kids behind that are recording, Sure, true enough. But these cats are looking at him like he is crazy. Look at these. They're all looking at Cam. They're turning around like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, nobody is paying attention to this kid in a way that would lead me to believe that anybody thinks it's acceptable. You see a couple of kids recording with their phones, but they're not joining in and saying a word. So rethink everything that you just put out there as it's culturally acceptable, because that's bullshit and you know it. Lavery Adam, another one. Damn, 10 euro. Lavery, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. He says the 90s was the best music, as you said, but what I appreciate even more was the underline of what it meant to really shine. The underline is gone. Hashtag zombie monster. And, you know, I to a certain extent, I can agree with that. Because, you know, it was about making it back then. It was about artists who were trying to pull themselves out of, you know, the desperate situations that they were in as youths in inner city America. For the most part, that's where it was. And, you know, they were the reporters. They were our news reporters about life in the hood. You know, today is a good day, like the Ice Cube track. Like, he's just telling us what's going on in the hood. Wonder if Heaven Got a Ghetto, Tupac. Like, these are songs where they're telling you, that they're reporting to you, they're painting the picture for you about life and in their world, in that other society that people don't see on the news. They don't understand how things happen and how events unfold and how people's lives are changed on a daily basis in the worlds that they grew up in. That's what it was about in the 90s. Bringing that bringing that which was in the dark to the light, and, you know, using their skills and using their wordplay to give us a true, like, an intimate view into that world. And it made them stars. It made them celebrities. But it also brought awareness. And it grew because of that. Like, and it was raw. And, you know, and it was raw. It was raw. It was too raw for a lot of people. Because that's just too much reality for some folks. Now, it's not the same. Of course, we all know that. It's not the same now. These motherfuckers just got to get, you know, 1 million fucking views, and now they're a superstar all of a sudden. And he ain't got no talent in the world. This kid got 3.2 million, or this kid's videos got 3.2 million views. He's probably got 100,000 more subscribers on TikTok. But, you know, at the end of the day, he wants to be a football player, but he probably ain't going to be one. And that's safe to say. I don't care about what, oh, well, you don't know. No, it's safe to say he probably ain't going to be one. Based on just based on just 2 minutes. I mean, look, this is junior year highlights. 1 minute and 12 seconds. I was a defensive end in high school. My highlight film, my senior year, my sophomore year highlight film would have been 10 minutes. My senior year highlight film, shoot, I was second team All-State. Defensive end in the state of Texas. This cat's in where is he? He's in Collegeville, Pennsylvania? Come on, bruh. You wouldn't even, come on, bro. You'd still be on JV if you were in the state of Texas playing like you playing on this 1 minute, 12 second highlight film. Get the fuck out of here. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. Oh goodness, MG23, come on, man. You're being disingenuous in your argument. You're being disingenuous, totally disingenuous argument here. Chloe's got some good points on here. I like what she's been saying. Cam has given so much to the community. He deserves respect regardless of where he's at right now professionally. Absolutely. Like, come on. Come on. You know, you can even take Cam Newton out of the picture here and replace Cam Newton with a second-year player who was a 7th-round draft pick who didn't get any starts in his rookie year. And I would say the same thing. Everybody who's there should be looking at him with respect, should be listening to what he has to say, because to be him, to be a 7th-round draft pick who didn't play on anything but special teams his rookie year, who didn't start a single game, to be that 7th-round draft pick, you would have won the Powerball to be him. You would have had to have won the Powerball to be him. That's what these motherfuckers don't understand. You think you can just make it to the NFL? Come on, man. The NFL has 255 draft picks a year. The league itself has 1,900 plus players. 1,900 players in a professional football league that only picks 255 new draft picks. These are guys who will play at least 2 years. At least 2 years before their career may be over. And then you have your undrafted free agents who are usually guys who are interchangeable, who are in and out, you know, in every other day in the NFL. So you can't even really say that they have careers for the most part. So to be a 7th-round pick, at the bottom of the fucking barrel, you have to have won the Powerball to do that. These people don't understand. They don't understand. Lavery for €5. He says Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. 100% right there. 100. 100. Let's see here. And again, you know, I can pick on this kid because it's easy. Because I know just, you know, like this kid's just a kid at a youth camp. But he put himself out there, so he gonna get picked on a little bit because he's a dummy. He needs to be shown how dumb he is. This shit on this ain't getting you in the NFL, cuz. This might not even get you in the fucking college. I mean, shoot. What is this? Where are you? You waiting. That's taking forever. He already picked up 4 yards. Like, come on. This kid ain't doing nothing on here that really even merits me talking about him in any way about a future with football. He's just a high school football player. So what? But, you know, it's people like Jason Whitlock and the way that they present things that to me is really full of shit and needs to be called out because he's so off the base. He's so completely wrong with how he's looking at that. And it's crazy because he's demeaning Cam Newton at the same time while he's pointing this out. He's demeaning somebody who's accomplished a million times more than he has as a bootlicker on fucking ESPN and all these other sports media outlets. He was a bootlicker from the beginning of it. Cam Newton's achieved 10 times what he has, and he has the nerve to come on here and talk about somebody and their lifestyle in our culture as a black society. Come on, man, get the fuck out of here. And he should know better than that. He should know better than that. But he don't care. He don't care. This is what he wants. He wants people to smash the like button. Just like I'd like for you all to smash that like button if you like this stream and you like the content I'm giving you here right now. I'm just being 100 with you, but we got to keep the lights on somehow. Hit that like button, please, everybody. see here. Okay, I see a couple of people are headlining the chat right now. Chloe, I see you, Chloe, formerly Rod. My boy Lavery. I see y'all. No, it's and you know, look. Oh Lord, here we go. MG23. You are using some false equivalencies here, my man. You're using the false equivalencies here. Oh shit, here we go. The Greg for $5. The Greg. 7th round pick equals hitting the Powerball, just as close as getting a 6th rounder at 199 and winning 6 Super Bowls, 9 AFC titles, 14 AFC East divisions with him. And you know what? I will actually say, Greg, that's a perfect point that you just made. You know, a 7th round pick. To be picked in the 7th round, you would be so lucky as somebody who won the Powerball in the NFL. Tom Brady was the 199th pick in the draft, in the 6th round. And look what that, and I mean, he won the Powerball. He took advantage. He won championships. He was a 6th round pick. Ask me how many 6th round picks that I know that have played more than 2 years in the NFL. I was a 5th round pick and I played 7. So, you know. MG23 says Tupac shot at 2 cops to stop them from beating a black man. Tupac would go on to beat a black man with the help of other black men because the cops beating a man was a no-no. Him doing it was okay. Okay, another false equivalency. Another false equivalency. I don't know how much I want to get into all that because we're talking about this particular situation. But I will say this, like, you're looking at this strictly from a race standpoint. If a person has a problem with another individual and they get into an altercation over it, that's between them. It ain't got nothing to do with them being black. Tupac shot 2 cops in Atlanta because they were assaulting a citizen and they were drunk. And they shot at him first. And he shot back. So it's a problem when a black man uses a gun and uses his Second Amendment rights and protects himself when he gets shot at by an off-duty cop who's drunk and he shoots both their asses after they've shot at him first. Come on, man. Stop with the false equivalencies, please. See here. Cam has earned $122 million throughout his career, and that doesn't include endorsements. Not just that, how many black QBs actually make it to the Super Bowl? That's a good point. I mean, we've had some make it. We've had some make it in the past. I mean, and you know, and look, sometimes it feels cringy to me to even make those points of, you know, how many black quarterbacks do we get here? How many black quarterbacks are starters or made it to the Super Bowl or won championships? You know, sometimes it feels cringy because I don't like to give people a chance to say, oh, why is it because he's black? Because, you know, at the end of the day, I really don't, it doesn't matter to me so much that it's just that they're black. But sometimes you do need to take stock of that because sometimes it's a rare feat that's accomplished. So it does make sense to actually, you know, speak to it. But that is not but that's for that black man. That doesn't mean that I deserve to get what he's getting because he was the first one to get it. It doesn't mean that I'm now entitled to that next wave or that next movement. It doesn't mean that. I got to earn mine. So, you know, really at the end of the day, it's really hard to always, it's hard for me to ever bring race into it because I don't like to. because I like to just look at things from a purely reasonable and logical standpoint. I don't like to always have to go into these race things, but as you see in our society, you know, there are certain ways that people are treated differently. And my issue again comes back to this Jason Whitlock tweet, is that this tweet in and of itself does nothing but create a bigger cycle of self-hate and lack of self-respect against black society that it doesn't need and it doesn't deserve from its own people who are in its own society as well. Like, this is what we call the fucking hater. This is the hater. And the hater doesn't do anything but bring everybody else down because they not happy with what they got. And that's where I read what he puts out here and it don't even make no sense to me because it means he can't relate to what society is really about. He's still looking back at the same old talking points and the same old scapegoats that they've been trying to put on every bad aspect or every rough edge of black society. And to me, that's bullshit. I don't want to hear that. You either motherfucking get your tone right or you stop fucking talking for the black community. Because you ain't the one. You ain't the one. Let me see here. The Greg for $5. He says, Uche is easily one of the best all-around YouTubers out there. It's all respect. Need you back on Sports Wars live stream. And I will be. I'll be back on Sports Wars again real soon. Appreciate that, Greg. Lavery for another €5. He says, I'm out. I appreciate you, man. Despite the fact that it's Whitlock saying it, it feels as black people, we got to hear it. You know, I can understand you, you know, putting it out there like that. I hear you. And we may not agree, but I respect that that you have a perspective on it and you are, you're speaking to it. And I can respect that. I'm not going to ever, talk down or mischaracterize somebody because they don't think the same way that I do about anything, because, you know, my perspective is based on my experiences. It's based on my own knowledge of dealing with circumstances which are not necessarily going to be the same as yours. So, much respect to you, Lavery, and have a good evening, my friend. Let me see here. What else we got here? We got... Greg, or no, let's see here. Let's see. Chloe says, I don't agree with his statement. People look at everything we do and try to gaslight our racial experience. Race definitely has nothing to do with this interaction. Yeah, that's 100% correct. 100% correct there, Chloe. 100%. Let's see here. You guys are having some good conversations in the chat. I like that. As for me with this whole situation, I really, just kind of, and I'm going to bring it to a close here in a moment. I really just wanted to talk about it because it just really felt like, I mean, look, I know it's the Twitterverse. I know it's really, this is like the Matrix. This is not necessarily it's not necessarily real life when we talk about, how things play out when we walk out the front door of our house. But, I saw this tweet when it hit, like it popped up on my timeline, and it was only like 10 seconds old. And to see how much the flood of likes started coming in for this statement, which was so fucking off base and tone deaf. Which, I mean, anybody who was being at all unbiased about how they view people in the real world, anyone who read this tweet could easily see that this was a scapegoating and gaslighting to the fullest from Jason Whitlock. Like, complete and utter nonsense. And it made me mad. It made me mad because it's like, dude, stop. You don't know what this is ridiculous. You really, I mean, you're too old. You're too old and you have to have seen too much to really believe that this is the reason why this shit happened today. I mean, you really just can't convince me that this is true. You just can't. And to post this, to literally post this with any kind of confidence, to me was just, I mean, it's just, this dude is just, he's out of touch. He's out of touch and he don't need, and he should really just, should just shut his mouth, you know? And I say that metaphorically. He needs to shut the fuck up. Because all you're doing is you are reaffirming a completely false narrative to 4,770 people who now have it even more engraved in their mind that the reason that black people have issues or here or there in society is because of gangster rap and battle rap and the bag. Materialism? Dude, this is America. This is the United States. That's all it is in the United States. It's all about materialism for a lot of people. That's a system that this whole shit was set up on. The consumer country. We're the consumer. So what the fuck does that, how is that now just a black person problem? Get the fuck out of here. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't even, like, this is just utter ridiculousness. Utter ridiculousness. Oh, it irritates me. Utter ridiculousness. I mean, oh, jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Let's see here. Dr. Diddler. Dr. Diddler, what's up? Appreciate you with the super chat here for $2. He says, video games cause violence 2.0. Keep it up, Uche. And yeah, that's what this is. That's what it is with him saying this. I mean, you know, there was a lawyer, I forget this guy's name, but there was a lawyer who used that same video games cause violence propaganda. And this guy literally, and I mean, this is true story 100%. This guy sued game companies so much over and over and over. He sued them over and over and over under the guise of video games cause this, video games cause that, video games cause that. He did it so much, and it was such a disingenuous argument. He did it so much that he was disbarred. They disbarred him because of it. They disbarred him. If there was a way to disbar Jason Whitlock as a sports reactionist because of repeated disingenuous arguments, then he would have already lost his pass to even comment on anything that happens in the sports world. He would have lost that 10 years ago. Because that's been his routine. That's been what he does. That's been what he does. That's been what he does. Look at that. Gangster rap made me do it. Ice Cube. Damn, there you go. Boom. Perfect example. Blame it all on the music. That's what Jason Whitlock wants to do. That's what he wants to do. Oh shit, Jason Gaines there. What's up, Jason Gaines? That's a member of the channel here. He says, Greg, you sound like Jeremy and Ryan Kendall from Sports Wars, always blowing Brady. Yeah, Sports Wars. Those guys are my people. Those guys are my friends. I know Jeremy, Ryan. You know, those cats. They're doing the damn thing over there. You know, I'm part of Sports Wars, but you know, I'm part of Sports Wars. You know, I get my videos in whenever I can. I get my videos in wherever I can. Oh my God. MG23. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. Like, seriously. This is like ridiculous. There's no correlation between the video game argument and the rap music. Video games are completely fake. Rappers who were actual gangbangers find success glorifying their gangster past. Come on, dude. That's another disingenuous statement. Like, these motherfuckers was not gangbangers. They were reporting on that lifestyle. Very few in gangster rap's golden age, very few of those guys were gangbangers. Very few. Eazy sold drugs, but he wasn't a gangbanger. Ice Cube wasn't no gangbanger. Dr. Dre wasn't no gangbanger. These were musicians. These were kids who were living in the ghetto. What are you talking about? Tupac wasn't a gangbanger. Tupac was the son of one of the leaders of the Black Panther movement, but he wasn't a gangbanger. Notorious B.I.G. wasn't a gangbanger. He sold drugs, but he was not a gangbanger. Like, come on, dude. You're not even like getting their history right. The kids that I mean, come on, dude. Look, I listened to Tupac from age like 10, 11. Always knew he wasn't a gangbanger. And I didn't have no internet to go to verify. I just always knew he wasn't a gangbanger. From watching his interviews, from listening to how he talks, from listening to how he tries to convey the messages that are in his music. He wasn't a gangbanger. There's gangster rap that's entertainment, is music, yes. But that's still not gangbanging. That's a persona that they create for music that they make. And some of that persona is built, it comes from a true part of their essence from what they've seen in their life, but they're not gangbangers. What are you talking about, dude? Chloe says, I'm annoyed. This one tweet takes away from the real issue. Yeah. And that's really why I decided to come on live and really talk about it. That's really where that intent came from for me, was because this is such a scapegoating of the easy target over actually addressing the true issue in the underlying issue as to how a situation like this happened. Because, you know, this is what, you know, and no disrespect to any of my non-black folks in the audience. No disrespect to any of y'all at all. I love all of y'all the same as I love my black folks. I love all of y'all the same. But this is what some white folks want to hear. This is what they want to hear about why black folks act act the way they perceive them to act. This is what they want to hear. This is, to them, this is the truth. And they're glad because a black guy said it. And that's why he has 4,857 likes. That's why. Which totally disrespects the real issue as to why this happened and why it's, and why it's unacceptable and why and where the real root of that problem, the parenting, needs to be addressed. Because that is the issue. That is the sole issue. That is the starting point of all of this, is parenting. Oh, wow. Chloe says, you're right. Fox News posted this exact tweet. Boom. Boom. There you go. That's why this shit has that many likes. Because there's a certain kind of audience that this is what they like to, these are the things that they like to see because it reaffirms their bias in their mind. Is that everybody? No, absolutely not. Is that most people? No, absolutely not. I think most people who are logical and reasonable and not lying to themselves and not being disingenuous will look at that video and they'll ask the same fucking question that Cam Newton asked. Where is this kid's parents? Where's your dad? Where's your mom? Like, who the hell taught you? Anybody teach you to have respect for your elders? Anybody teach you to be grateful for somebody who's looking out for you? Like, be grateful and show some respect? Like, come on, let's be real. Let's be real, folks. Stop being disingenuous about it. Because to see it any other way than that first means you have an agenda. It means you have a narrative that you rather would see reaffirmed than to actually dig deep into the weeds and look at where the real problem lays in situations like this. Let's see here. Greg says Uche need to invite MG23 in debate right now. Man, come on, man. I'm not about to, like, he's not, we're not, if we can't even start with the assumption that if we can't even start being on the same page and understanding that this kid acting like that has nothing to do with rap music at all, then there's no point in me even talking to somebody about that at any kind of extended debate or conversation. Formerly Rod Line says, I won't say culture doesn't influence people, but good parenting is far more important. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's what it boils down to. And there are people who are in their replies, and I look here at my tweet. There are people who, in their replies, made points that I can actually, that I can actually look at and say, that's a point that's an argument that you can make. And I wouldn't totally disagree with you. But for a lot of this, it really is people who are being disingenuous, and they just look at this and say, yeah, let's blame it on the rap music. That makes total sense. Like, I ain't even trying to hear all that. Like, whatever. Let's see. Dr. Diller says, I don't see Fox tweeting this anywhere. I don't, that's what I read earlier in the, I read that was from Chloe said that earlier. So maybe she saw them do a news article on it or something and present it that way. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Muslim Uncle Uche. Now I'm picking up what you are putting down. Detroit 60s. That's a lyric. Detroit 60s. You gotta kind of spread out with that one. You gotta give me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more, my friend. Let's see here. Chloe says, also, we all know some good parents will have some badass kids no matter how they've tried to raise them. Yeah, I mean, that's true too. But you know what? I mean, even the worst kids, even the baddest of bad kids, like, you can embarrass them to the point where they know they gotta chill out. I mean, even the bad ones, you know, enough whoopings and they'll fall back a little bit. They wouldn't do nothing as outlandish as that, where they know it's gonna get their ass kicked. Like that's gonna get them ass whooping. Like, I think that's what pretty much most of us kind of know about dealing with those kind of scenarios, is that if I was a kid and if I was a high school kid and I did that to a professional, like, you know, when I was young, you know, I was growing up in Dallas, so it was the Dallas Cowboys. You know, if Michael Irvin or if Troy Aikman or if Emmitt Smith was having a youth football camp and I was there and I just start going on Emmitt Smith or I just start going on Troy Aikman, like, I know I'm going to get my ass whooped for that. Like, that's an ass whooping guaranteed 100%. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Once my parents find out that I did this, they are going to whoop my ass. Period. I think 99% of kids pretty much feel like if they go to that extreme and interrupt an adult who's really holding an event to that nature where you're trying to embarrass this cat, bruh, you know you're going to get an ass whooping. We all knew we was going to get an ass whooping for that. Like, come on. Ooh. Chloe says it was Fox News Sports. Okay, so Dr. Diddler, there you go. I think it's Fox News Sports. Dr. Diddler said, nah, we all know he wouldn't say that to Cam's face out in the street. Cam would pick him up and drop him in a dumpster. Yeah, you damn right he would. You damn right he would. Let me see here. It's a phrase from the 60s, Detroit. My mom says people are using this as an of course so they can keep it about race, not about individual character. Okay, I see what you're saying there, your Muslim uncle. Yeah, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. You know, this comment by Jason Whitlock is to keep it about race instead of about personal responsibility from parents to raise their kids right. You know what I mean? Like this tweet takes the blame off of the parents and puts it on the people, which to me is just completely unacceptable and incorrect in of that. So you know, it's again, we're just really it's just really like, it's really just completely tone deaf, completely like devoid of any kind of true understanding of how society actually works, which makes me think he ain't got no kids. Now, I don't know if he does or not. You guys can let me know. I don't know what his life situation is, but I would assume that if his kids seen this, they would be like, yo, that's some dumbass shit, Pops. Like, no. Like, it ain't have nothing to do with our music we listen to. We knew not to go out and rob a liquor store because we were taught not to steal things when we were little. You know what I mean? Like, come on. All right, Chloe. I see you got to go, Chloe. Hey, Chloe, you know, anybody who's new here, and I don't think I've seen Chloe in here before, but anybody who's new here, think about subscribing. Hit that like button if you like this video, if you like this stream, you like this content. You know, I do try to get on here and do live streams on my live podcast at least twice a week. This last week, I took a little break because, you know, I've been going strong since the football season. And with the season ending, I wanted to take a little break, a little week off there. I did get a video in about Vincent Jackson, which is another thing I really do want to talk about as well in this stream, and I'll try to be somewhat brief in talking about this entire situation with Vincent Jackson and how, and also, you know, coincidentally at the same time, the NFL and the situation that they're having right now with players, former players, and, you know, concussion protocol. But those are things that, you know, that I'll try and be brief about. Dr. Diddler, he says here for $5, he says this event has more to do with TikTok influencers being generally awful people rather than this art made me be a tool. He wants followers. Yeah. Oh, of course, Doc. No, you're right. You're right on that. And again, that's where we talked about, you know, to a certain extent, I can talk, you know, I can get on this little kid, but at the end of the day, you know, this kid don't know, he's not very smart, you know, it's because he's not very self-aware because he's not old enough to really be that self-aware yet. So, you know, for him, he sees this as an opportunity to get likes, to get clicks. But at the end of the day, you know, he's going to, you know, someone with more knowledge, I would hope, would bring to his attention how much he has actually embarrassed himself, how much he's actually embarrassed his family, and how much he's actually confirmed a stereotype about the youth of his time and how they are completely, you know, obsessed with this, like, you know, getting these likes, getting these clicks. That's a culture in and of itself that they're completely obsessed with. That is, as far as we're seeing right now, supersedes any kind of real recognition of what it means to be accountable and to be and to be aware about what it is that you put out there into the social realm. You know, and I think we're seeing a lot of examples of people's lack of self-awareness and their inability to be really aware about what it is that they put out there and what it can mean for them in the present and in the future. I mean, it's crazy to me. Bye, Chloe. Thanks for being a new person in here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. Let's see here. So Cam Newton has a response. Well, let me go to Cam. Let's go to Cam Newton's Twitter here. And let's see what he's put out. Okay. It's on his Instagram? Is it on his Instagram? Oh, okay. Let me see here. Let me see if they got it on here. Okay. Okay, so here's his little Instagram. All right, so I guess this is going to be.
Disrespect.
And let me throw my headphones on here. Let's see what he says. Let me rewind this back.
Nah, ain't no disrespect. You know, if you wanted some attention, I'm gonna give you some attention. The right way, bro. The right way. When do y'all play?
We play tomorrow.
What was y'all record today then?
1-2. No, 2-1.
What did you do? No, I wasn't able to see because y'all was too.
It's cameras on me.
All right, bro. What did he do, man? Does he play?
He got speed.
He got speed.
No, he's letting his speed.
Oh.
You gonna see.
Huh?
You gonna see.
Nah, you ain't, don't act shy, nah, bro. Don't act shy.
Oh, now he's shy.
I couldn't see today.
You gonna watch YouTube. Oh, you watch YouTube? I know you do. You gonna watch that
Crocs, man. Stop. No, I'm really trying to ask you. Like, I'm trying.
See, I want y'all to pay attention to something that Cam Newton does here. That really, I'm I won't lie. I'm actually surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that he does this. But, you know, and yes, there's a little bit of banter going back and forth here. This is after the fact, after the video that we saw earlier, right? So here, Cam Newton does something that, you know, I don't pay attention to every little thing he does, of course, but he takes this to a more serious level, and he stops other kids from piling on to this kid after he, you know, justly kind of puts him in his place. Because he tells him at the beginning, no, I want to communicate with you the right way. I want to communicate with you the right way. You know, not in some childish, completely unproductive manner just for you to get likes. He says, I want to communicate with you the right way. And then when these other kids start laughing and giggling and start saying stuff, he says, no. He says, no.
I couldn't see today.
You gonna watch YouTube? Oh, you watch YouTube? I know you do.
You cafeteria your crocs, man. What you do? No, I'm really
So you hear him there, he says, stop.
like, I'm trying to see like what you.
We do that shit for real though.
I'm like
We rep that 215.
205?
215.
205. Okay, cool. Bro, I'm just like, please don't be one-dimensional. Like you said something to me, then I go, well, I'm really trying to talk to you. I'm not trying to like crack no jokes. I'm just really trying to ask a simple question, bro. It's your fault why everybody's looking, but I'm really just trying to ask a question. But you never said what you did. You said you're gonna see.
At the end of the day, right?
See, this is a kid who doesn't have any humility about him. You can see it. You can see in how he stands. You can see how he responds. Cam Newton is actually humbling himself to speak to this kid. That cannot go unrecognized if you're an adult who wants to know about dealing with each other in public spaces. Cam Newton humbled himself to speak to this kid and to try and get through to this kid on a more fundamental, basic level, you know, man to child. He brought himself, he swallowed his own ego instead of just ragging this dumb little fucker for an hour. He actually brought himself down because it's his camp and it's his environment. He needs to control how his environment operates because it's a reflection of himself as an adult. It's a reflection of him. So he humbles himself to speak to this little child, this little stupid, arrogant, don't know nothing, ain't really even a great football player child, to speak to him. And that shows you just in how this kid thinks he can talk to Cam Newton as if they're really like age mates, as if they're really relatable, they can talk to each other. No, there's nothing that this kid can relate to. There's nothing that Cam Newton can relate to this child whatsoever outside of, I've seen this kind of stupid ass attitude before. Let me try and approach it from a way and from a angle that is much more where he doesn't feel like he's being, you know, pressured or I'm coming at him any kind of way. Let me just try and be a little bit more brotherly to him and get through to him that way. And this kid still doesn't really get it. He doesn't really get it. Let's go through the rest of it.
Coach, it's no disrespect.
No,
I
I
promise you
get
it's no
it. I
disrespect.
get that. I get that. But I'm a grown man, right? This is the coach. I'm not the fool.
Coach, we.
And now they got to explain it to this kid. These other kids got to explain it to him. And maybe this guy's not a kid. I don't know exactly who he is. But it's somebody else who actually sees that this kid is just a fucking idiot. Let me try and get through to him. Let me help Cam try to get through to this dummy.
No disrespect.
No,
I
I
promise you
get
it's
it.
no
I
disrespect.
get that. But I'm a grown man. right? This is the coach of number 2.
Coach, we squashed it. We good. I was.
I know.
We
I
good.
love that. I love that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to break the monotony. Yeah. I was just trying to talk to him. He think I'm trying to put him to
Nah, bro, I'm focusing on this. I'll get my point.
Thank you, sir.
Right? Congratulations.
Say that. But y'all don't play no more today, though.
Are you good? I see y'all moving.
Y'all play us next?
No, our younger team do. Play the, not a younger team, but a younger guy.
The 18. Y'all 18 in there.
Huh, you 18. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
just
sir.
15.
Yeah.
All right.
Yo,
Say less.
Viper, let's go over there.
Hey, come on. In the back of the end zone.
Viper,
To the
let's go.
Batmobile.
Okay, so that's that on that. That was the kids' coach. The kids' coach even came into it and tried to, mediate what was going on there. Now I'm gonna try and get through this Cam Newton actual statement here. I mean, we all know he writes in hieroglyphs, so real quick, let me check and see what's going on here in the chat. See here. Cupcake, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you make comments that I don't really, it doesn't, I don't know what you're saying. Let's see. Remix Z says, damn that kids want to act like adults to adults. They deserve to be treated as such. The number of times they've circled the sun goes out the window. Yeah, no, I hear you. See. Okay. So let's go through this real quick. I'll try and get through it without really. I'll try and elaborate on how I feel about it once I get through it. But it says here, what you didn't see, I see there are a lot of things festering out there that I see have taken. He says took, but have taken place over the weekend. To the natural eye, you see me asking the young man, "Where is your dad at?" But to me, talking to a child with everyone looking does me no good. So instead of speaking or going back and forth with a child, which you did go back and forth with them, but you quickly moved off from the I'm rich thing to where's your dad? Because I'm sure he realized, why am I even talking to this little kid right now? So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. I wanted to have a man-to-man conversation with his father. Good point. People often forget as athletes that are often seen on TV, loved by most, hated by some. People often forget we are real dads, real friends, real brothers, real sons, real human beings, etc. With that being said, when I attend tournaments all across the country with my all-star team, I've given my time, my energy, my expertise, and my expertise to these kids coming into our program for over 11 years. That is not what people want to hear or even want to see. People want to see me arguing with another young man and to see me get in my feelings. But the truth is this: I impact kids' lives in a positive way. Make no mistake about it. I allow kids to realize they're out by using their football talents to get them to the next level, and in most cases, out of the hood. So with that being said, have yourself an unbelievable rest of your day. And then we got Jalen Ramsey, says living legend, Cam Newton right there. And, you can see here, there are people who also look at what he said and they see it in a certain way. They see it in a certain fashion. And no, I reading that statement, that is a mature, very thoughtful way to present, what you feel and how you feel the situation itself was handled, the truth of the situation, so to speak. And I can appreciate and I can respect everything he said about that, because that was his goal. That was his goal out there, was to help these kids. And this young troll, allowed himself to think that it was okay to bring that kind of useless, counterproductive attitude and actions into that environment to try and make Cam Newton look bad. But at the end of the day, again, like Cam said, he wanted to talk to this kid's father because really it's his father who was going to look bad. And it's his father who'd be embarrassed if Cam Newton got a hold of him in that moment and talked to him about what his kid was doing and how, look, like, this is what your child is doing at this tournament, at this football tournament or football camp. And he's embarrassed himself, and that would be an embarrassment to his father or to his guardian or to whoever it is raising him. Because I'm sure they didn't raise him to act like that or to be so arrogant as to think that you, a little high school kid, could talk to in any way a professional athlete the way that you did. Like, come on. That would just be so stupid. Like, no parent, no guardian is going to look at what he did and be like, yeah, I taught him to be that way. That's the way I want him to be. Hell no. Hell no. So, I think that really, just kind of shows that this kid was clout chasing. Kind of shows that this kid was really, trying to, gain some kind of notoriety. And it really was just pathetic. And it really, it really was just not anything that should have been blown up into the kind of hoopla that it's been on, in this Twitter world. But again, I come back to this being the main issue when on a real level, post all of the social media stuff with that kid and Cam. This is the problem to me. And this will always be the problem to me when people don't have the ability to see a situation in real time, analyze it and process it in a way that's logical, reasonable, and actually speaks to the point of what the real problem is, rather than to find something to scapegoat as the problem for likes, for hearts. Like, you can kiss my ass, Jason Whitlock. I said what I said. If you got a problem, you know where to find me. Maybe you don't. I don't care. But if you want to talk about it, I'm right here all day, every day. And you can put it in his shit and let him know. If you want to talk about it and he want to hear from somebody who understands the situation, why he's so full of shit, then I'll be more than happy to explain it to him. But again, really appreciate you guys. I'm going to bring this thing to an end now because, I think that, my points have been made and I think we've discussed it enough. And I think we can move on from it now that we've seen this other part from Cam Newton and him talking about exactly, why the situation was what it was and why, really what his purpose and all of it really what was to be. So, with all that being said, really appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Make sure you subscribe if this is your first time coming through the channel. I love to engage with my audience as much as I can. So when you guys come in here and you have a lively chat, it really does do a lot for me and keeps me rolling with the stream. But again, I will likely be back on here tomorrow. So, hit that notification bell so you can get notified whenever I do jump back on for another live stream. But I appreciate you guys once again for being on here. I am your observant lineman, Uche Waneri. Don't forget, go check out my other channel, which will actually deal with pop culture, gaming, and geek culture. It's called The Ath Geek, the Athlete Geek, The Ath Geek. Look that channel up on YouTube. That is my second channel. I'm going to begin putting content on there this week. So look out for that. But I appreciate you guys once again, and I will catch you all on the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I will catch you all